book lovers, it's Malia. So today I'm going to take a risk and start a new tag. And this tag is called Try a Chapter Tag. And the reason why I came up with it is because everybody has so many busy things going on in their life and everyone's just juggling school and work and families, and they just don't have time for what we all love to do, is read books. And so as I gazed upon my scaling tower of unread books, I discovered that I wanted to start doing what I always do, is read the first chapter. And if the first chapter intrigues me, then I'll continue. And if not, I'm going to set it aside for a later date. And so I thought that'd be a really great idea for a new tag. There's some benefits to doing this tag. And one is you can start downsizing or prioritize. We all have that long list. And so to be able to prioritize would just be great. The second is you can get motivated or renew your craving to read again. And 3, it's fun. Here are the rules. The first rule is find 5 books that you haven't read or have been meaning to read, and then read them. And so you can utilize your library. You don't have to have the book or buy it yourself. I don't want to have people spending so much money, but just go to the library, find all the books that you want to read, at least 5, and that's where you're going to start. The second rule is read the first chapter. The prologue doesn't matter. You can read the prologue and more as long as you just end with the first chapter. The third rule is yes or no. Are you sold on the book? Are you going to put it aside or read it this month? Let me know what you think. I read 7 books, so I read 5 and then 2 more. And the 5 books that I read did take me about an hour, so it won't take very long for you guys. I know you're like, oh my gosh, I have to read 5 books. But you're just reading the first chapter of 5 books, and it's the books that you've been wanting to read. The first book that we're going to talk about is The Girl of Fire and Thorns. And when I read it, I was really excited because I've heard a lot of great things about this book series. But when I read it, it just didn't capture my attention like I wanted it to, sadly. It didn't engage me enough. So I'm not going to be reading this book this November. The second book is Hollowed, and I was really excited to read this book because it's an unearthly novel, and so I think this is the second book in the series. Because one, it had a prologue, so it kind of prepared you for what you're going to be reading, and then the first chapter was really cool because it kind of described a lot of the things that I really enjoyed. I will be reading this book this November. I'm sold because Cynthia did a really great job on catching me up on what the first book had, but it intrigued me so much that I wanted to read the first book. So I stopped reading this so I wouldn't see any more spoilers, and I'm going to be picking up the first book. So that I'm going to be reading this November. The second book is The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. And I've read a lot of Melissa de la Cruz, and so when I saw this book, I was just really excited because I was like, ooh, another book that she read. And I was instantly hooked. So it's in a different time era, you have a different century that you're working with, and I really like that. And what really intrigued me is I was reading, and it just happened to be in the back of the book, which I don't usually read the back of the book, so I'm just gonna read it. It said, 2 girls, one beautiful, one strong, one plain, one powerless. One shall be queen, and the other shall serve her. But as I wake from my sleep, I still do not know which one of them is my daughter and which one is the traitor. And so that itself intrigued me, so I will be reading this or the series this November. The next book is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and I've seen so many great things about this book. I've heard some people that this is their favorite book and that they just love it, so I had to pick it up. And this doesn't have chapters, it has more like a stop and go, and it has parts, so they sectioned it out and has different parts. And from what I read of the first chapter, it didn't capture my attention. I'm not a big alien person, so I probably will be reading this later because it got like a 7 out of my review, but not this November. The next one is Immortal, and when I read it, I was hooked. It was really interesting. It had a lot of different elements. It talked about a girl named Evie, and usually I don't like that name, but I've been hearing it so many times it's starting to grow on me. So I really like that first chapter. I read this, so this will be part of my November read. The next one is The Selection by Kira Cass, and I was so excited to read it because I saw the Elite, the covers just looked so gorgeous, and the one, and it just looked really, really cool. And when I started reading it, it was, no, I know this is really bad, but this actually is pretty similar to The Hunger Games for several different reasons. One, it had a competition, and so unlike the competition to the death, it had a competition to be princess. The second is like levels of stature, like 1 through 12 in The Hunger Games, and then this had like a 1 through I think 8 or 7. I didn't read that far. It just seemed a little cliche, and I know it was probably an amazing book, but I just won't be reading it this November, so I'll be downsizing, which is really sad about that one. The last book is Star-Crossed. The covers just look so cool. They glitter and glam, and they're just beautiful covers. And I got really excited about reading these books, but then when I first read it, it was just kind of boring. Like, oh, let me get into the next chapter, which is never a good sign. I liked her best friend, but that's pretty much the only element of it. It's just my personal opinion, and I won't be reading it this November. Just so. Alright, so there's my book tag. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and here are the people that I'm going to tag. I'm going to tag A Book Utopia, Jane Does, The Book Couple, Poland Bananas Books, MaureenKeavy, Jessie the Reader, PeruseProject, Katie Tasic, Emma Books, and those are the people I'm going to be tagging. So tag your it. I'll be letting you guys all know that you have been tagged, and I hope you enjoy this tag as much as I did. And don't forget, this November Mockingjay comes out, and wouldn't you want to read the book before you watch it? I would say yes. So get this free book, look at my over video, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy every moment.